Call this meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Addition to the agenda?
Yep, under action items, item F was added, appointment to Melrose School District Building Committee.
As long as there's nothing else, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Open forum. Is there anybody that would like to bring anything up? All right, we're on the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes, approval of bills and purchase orders, approval of the investments. There's resolution number 2022-3, a donation of $5,000 from the Melrose Lions towards the Melrose Ambulance Department for the purchase of radios. Resolution number 2022-4, donation of $500 from Central Minnesota Credit Union towards the Melrose Ambulance Department for the purchase of radios. Resolution number 2022-5, a donation in the amount of $100 from Mark and Mary Monroe towards the Melrose Fire Department. Resolution number 2022-6, donation of $1,494 from the Melrose American Legion Post 101 for the purchase of a flag box, which we will talk about in a little bit. And resolution number 2022-7, donation in the amount of $2,188 from the American Legion Post 101 to the Melrose Fire Department for the purchase of equipment. And then there's a gambling resolution. Unless there's anything else, can I get a motion to approve?
Make motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We're on to a couple of special presentations. There's a presentation to a state champion that we have in our community, Allie Drossel. She won the Class A 100-yard breaststroke. She's a champion, and basically you should have probably won it last year also, but with COVID, you didn't get the shot, so we sort of look at you as a two-time champion here. But being a father of a swimmer, that is a hard sport. I don't think anybody understands that swimming is probably one of the hardest sports that this school system has. When they're swimming from here to the 5-mile corner almost on a daily basis, people don't understand how physically fit you have to be to do all this. And doing the breaststroke, I still can't do it. I've tried, and I swear I'll break my back and my neck and the whole 9 yards. So to me, I think it's very special. You're the first champion since 1989 when Eric Sanger won the breaststroke. So it's been a while since we've had a state champion, and definitely congratulate you. And that's quite an accomplishment for the Melrose School District. We're all very proud of you. And I have a couple little gifts for you, and just wonder if we could take a picture with you. So I'd like to give her a congratulations. Here, we'll just take them.
You have to come around on this side.
Do you want everybody in the picture?
First, and we have a couple little gifts for you. We'll know how much longer you will. Thank you. Turn it. We'll take a picture of this to you. Hold this also. That's all right.
Can I get you guys to look your side?
All right.
You want your folks to go up there?
Yeah.
Or your parents to go up there?
Yeah, if you guys, yeah, if you'd like to come up and have a picture with your daughter. Do you have your camera? You want to just take a couple pictures?
I left mine back there.
Okay. If you want, I can go take those for you.
Quite small at the bar.
All right. Huh?
Oh, you want to get in there?
Yeah, his is good. Isn't it great?
I tried to get out of this part.
Payback for picking on me at school.
I think it was the other way around.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll keep the chairs aside because we got another presentation. So the first one went to one of our ambulance members who retired, Steph Seelach. She was on for over 10 years, and both Bunker and I, and probably Trev and Tony, and have worked with her over the years. She's a very good person, and you always excited when people move on to try new things. So I just, a little presentation for Steph will get sent out to her. So I want to congratulate her and Sandy Yurchuk. She retired after 19 years of service. So we've had a lot of times together, a lot of good and interesting times together on a lot of calls with all of us. And yeah, we've had a lot of good times together. And just want to congratulate you on your retirement of 19 years on our ambulance department. You're a big asset to our community, and I really appreciate you. And so I'm going to have to smile again, so you got to come up for a few pictures. So. Well, let's congratulate Sandy.
Thanks.
We're not quite done.
Oh yeah, I might as well keep it by. So and then we also have a nice presentation from the American Legion Post 101. There's two different presentations. One big check for two different things. So first off, there was a donation for $2,188 from the American Legion to the Melrose Fire Department. And is Joe here? Do you want to come up, Joe, and receive the first check? So this is Joe Weesey. He's our first assistant chief. If you guys want to come in over here. You look good, Joe. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So. Yeah, we don't want Joe to be in. You want me to go behind Joe?
You don't want to get too close to Joe.
Which Joe? Oh, okay.
Get him smiling anyway.
You know how hard it is to smile so much?
No, stick out your tongue.
Yeah. I want to thank you for that. And we might as well stay here, George. You guys for the flag
Now the
box.
whole council, Joe.
Yeah. And we'll get the whole council in this picture. Well, you can hide behind there if you want.
Making my way out. You wouldn't have to duck very far.
So this don't,
Another one.
yeah, so this donation is for a flag box for disposal of old flags. We're gonna set it up so when people have, you know, an old flag, at least we have a place to
We
put
switch
it.
places.
That's
right.
So, yeah, so,
And it's going up at City Center?
and it's going up to City Center, and the donation on that one was $1,494, so we're doing one big check for all this, so. First off, thank you.
You didn't blame yourself, Joe. You've taken enough fire department pictures.
Yeah. You want to know? Sorry. We all cuddle together, come on.
Together.
I need just one more.
Can we do a Happy Gilmore with this?
Thank you.
You folks are online, are going
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, thank you, and appreciate it. Rich, thank you so much.
5719.
I've been spending a couple of times. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Thanks.
For those of you who are following us online, we're going to get to the meeting now.
Yeah. Now on to the boring stuff, right? Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
All right, we're up to reports. Police Department monthly report. Chief Mouse?
Good evening. Our monthly statistics for 2021, traffic area, we had 13 citations, 35 verbal warnings, and 9 written warnings. That was the start of our winter parking enforcement issues related to that. We had 264 calls or requests for service. Last year was 310. We ended on ICR 3642, and 3828 was in 2020, so we were down about 186 calls overall for last year, which is not too far off the norm. 29 agency assists, pretty consistent there. Some other things to note, the detour is going well, as it can be anyway. After school is obviously a backup on Molly's Hill, but we've had one crash in the area. It wasn't related to Molly's Hill or anything like that. It was a distracted driver at a stop sign nearby, so we're not quite counting that one as a bridge-related issue, but it's the only thing that we've had in that time frame anyway. The signs, the speed signs have been ordered. St. Rose was the only city that took advantage of ordering with us, and they actually ordered 4 signs, and we only ordered 2, so they wanted one for every entrance of their city, and they've been ordered. They should be coming in, I would say, in the next 3 weeks, give or take, from when we order them. They did say 6 to 8 weeks when we ordered them, but I'm not going to hold them to those numbers because I'm not real confident that that time frame is going to stand. But when they get here, we'll talk with Electric and Streets about getting them hung and getting them in the places we need them to be, and we can always move them after either the road project's done or anything else. They are something we can put up and down on poles anyway. I think that's the gist of it for our area anyway. I don't think there's anything else unless you have questions from the council.
Looks good.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
City Attorney reports. Scott?
Yeah, with, changing our engineer and our refuse collector and our building inspector, you can see on my report that we're going to be putting new agreements in place with all of those entities. The first 2, the engineering agreement and the agreement with West Central, will be coming up later tonight for your approval. The building inspector one apparently will be not till next month, but that's in the works also. That's what I've been spending my time on, reading contracts. So let's say that if you have additional questions, I can take them when you're considering them on the engineering and the sanitation agreement.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. City Engineer Report, Dave Blum from SEH. Welcome, Dave.
Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you
Introduce
on board.
myself briefly. I'm Dave Blummel, work for SEH, been there for about 18 years. Give you guys a quick little summary about me in your packet there. Kind of hitting the ground running with the housing stuff in town here is really what I've been focusing on so far with Tracy Ryan and Colleen here. So really getting things ready to go, hitting those community priorities hard. Really excited to be here, happy to have the opportunity. I interviewed with you guys back in 2012 when you guys were running last time, so certainly been interested for a long time, happy to get the chance here. So any questions, I'm always available. Please get a hold of me, whatever it takes. Happy to meet with you guys, talk with you guys. Can't wait to get to know you a little bit better. Short and sweet as promised.
Hey, perfect. You have any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. City Administrator Report.
So with our RDB project landwear, obviously has rerouted the channel. That is done, and they've actually started work on the bridge. The bridge is out. They began work on the south pylon. The north pylon, they ran into bedrock, so they are evaluating that at this time. They are not working, as you can see. They've been out there doing some things, but they haven't been doing the pile drivings because in this cold of weather, it's very difficult to do that. So as Craig reported, traffic's running very smoothly. We have had very little issues as far as I know, and things seem to be going as planned on that project. We did sign an option agreement for property, and the next step is to work with the engineer on a site plan layouts for the site where we signed an option agreement on. West Central Sanitation is going to be our new residential refuse hauler. We've received numerous phone calls regarding the switch from Waste Management to West Central. If I would encourage everyone that lives in the community to read their utility bill. Inside their utility bill was a stuffer that explained who West Central was and what's happening. And then also there was a letter that went out to all the residents in the community from West Central directly that talked about what size container they could get, and it's a postcard that people can send back to West Central. That actually, I believe, is due tomorrow. West Central will be here next week delivering their garbage bins, recycling bins, and their yard waste containers. Waste Management will be picking up yard waste containers tomorrow. However, I found out that actually they started that process this evening sometime, but they will be back tomorrow to get the yard waste containers. Their last day of service is the 27th, and then they will be picking up the rest of their containers on the 28th. For those folks that pay annually, they will get reimbursed from Waste Management. That will just probably take it's a 4-week type of process, 4 to 6 week process. West Central will be billing folks on a quarterly basis. So again, all the information is contained within the letters that folks received, but we certainly are happy to answer any questions if folks still have that. As Scott indicated, we do have a new building inspection firm. Mark Heron's company was bought out by Inspectron. Inspectron is a company that's been in the building inspection business for 40+ years. We actually didn't really have much of a contract with our last building inspector, and so what we decided to do is kind of start anew and get something that would, be a good contract for us. So we're working through that right now. There is later in the packet, there's a resolution on safe routes to school. The city submitted a safe routes to school application for the completion of a 10-foot wide walking biking path adjacent to County Road 168, sorry. That path is part of the master plan for the bike and pedestrian paths and is fully supported by both the school district and the county. But you guys still need to pass a resolution allowing us to move. It's kind of after the fact because the grant was submitted, but you guys need to make sure we have your blessing. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with that. And then as Scott indicated, we do have some things later on in the agenda related to contracts.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we're going on the action items. Now Patty, can we do one motion for all of them? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what we have is liquor license renewal applications for intoxicating liquor on sale, off sale, and Sunday on sale renewals, club and Sunday on sale renewals, 3-2 malt beer off sale renewals, wine license renewals. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve contingent on all proper documentation, licensing, whatever else is necessary, and the police chief sign off.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Pay equity report. Tessa?
Good evening. It's that time again where the city is required to report our pay equity report. This is due every 3 years. So it's due at the end of this month, and it will be as of December 31st, what our employee status and pay scales were. Looking at the employees, there haven't been any major adjustments in our staffing since we did it last time in 2019. This test has 4 different areas that they look at, and what they do is every employee of the city is assigned different points based off of, I believe, 9 different areas, and that goes off of the job descriptions. And then those are categorized by male employees and female employees, and they look at similar point ranges to determine how comparable the salaries are. So the first part of the test they look at is just completeness and accuracy. Did we file it on time, and is it correct? The second area is a statistical analysis, so that's where they look at the female classes compared to the male and the points associated with those. Originally, there's an underpayment ratio of what they consider their predicted pay. On one portion, I don't anticipate that will be in compliance, but then they go into a deeper statistical, called a t-test, all this stuff. That portion I do believe that we will be in compliance with, so I think we'll be good on that one. The third test is a salary test, and this just looks at the number of years it takes for an employee to reach the top of the pay scale. All of our pay scales are consistent, so we'll pass that one. And then the fourth area is an exceptional service pay test. So this is if employees are able to get extra pay. The only one that the city has is longevity pay. You may recall in 2019 we were out of compliance. 2021 or 2 will be out of compliance again. And all that's due to is just by fluke, we have more longer term male employees at this time. The longer term female employees have retired, and the replacements haven't necessarily reached the years of service. So last time I was able to send our personnel policy and just show that that pay is available to everybody just based on years of service. So it's kind of out of our control until some of the longer term male employees retire or more females get to that year of service requirement. So we were able to get compliance last time. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't in that sense for this. So we're just looking to review and adopt the pay equity report so I can submit that to the state of Minnesota.
All right. Council take action adopting the 2022 pay equity report. Can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Tessa. SEH Master Agreement and Supplemental Letter Agreement.
So this is, if Scott wants to take this, it's pretty self-explanatory, but.
And if Dave wants to chime in, I mean, this is our agreement with SEH, to provide, city engineering services to the city. I've been through this with Colleen, and we reviewed it with Dave, and I really don't see anything there that's troubling. We did delay it a little bit because I had asked for them to add some language specifically, describing the GIS services that were going to be applied. And so that's been added. I think there was a question at one of the meetings about, is this a long-term contract? And it's not. It's a year to year. And so if the council for some reason is unhappy, you can go back out and submit another RFP if you so choose. Any questions on anything in the contract, or questions for me, questions for Dave?
Yes, I would just like to bring up the thought of what happens when, not that it'll ever happen or whatever, but it has happened in the past where something gets designed, gets implemented, fairly large expenditure, starts getting used and it doesn't work. Is there something in here, I know there's limitations on consultants' liability, is that what this would cover, something like that? If something gets engineered, gets constructed, it doesn't work, then you're covered for those dollars? Is that?
Answer from here, you want me to hit up?
Either way,
Basically, those cover negligence, so if we do something negligent that is our fault, yes.
okay.
That's exactly.
So something's designed
Yes.
to fix something or whatever?
Yep.
Whether it be wastewater plant, because obviously you're doing wastewater now also, but if something doesn't work when this gets done, who's on the hook? Based on, obviously, if it was installed properly according to your specs, that's the big
Right.
question, obviously get fingers pointed, but I just want to make sure we have our, the liability is covered, so, okay.
Anything else? Council to give consideration approving the master agreement and supplemental letter. May I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. West Central Sanitation contract.
The biggest thing with this one, and Scott can certainly also we can talk about this, we kind of went back and forth, but if you'll recall, one of the things that we had asked them to look at was to make it so that it was a 4%, that it wasn't going to be exceeded by 4% every year. And so what we came up with, and the language is in there, I don't have it right in front of me, Scott may, but it basically, it will never go above 4% a year. However, let's say, for example, because of material costs, because of wages, because of this, and they have an 8% increase in their contract, like their cost, with all their different expenses, they would pass 4% on to us, and then they would, then that other 4% would be spread out over the 5 years of the contract, never to exceed 4%. So let's say they have a year where their costs are only up by 2%, but if they had that first year where their costs were 8%, they would make up for that with another 2%, if that makes sense. I'm not quite probably saying it correctly, but the thought is it's not going to be more than 4% per year. Because I said what we didn't want to see is those fluctuations going up and down all the time. We just wanted kind of that, just like we do with our taxes, we wanted kind of that, increase to be the same.
So we can probably anticipate 4% every year. Nobody's going to be shocked either way.
Right. And if you recall, when we did this, waste management was also at 4% per year. Because the 4% that the increase is going to be going up is because of, they get 4% immediately from the incinerator that they take the garbage to. They get charged that.
Yeah, and, just there's language on page 6 of the agreement. There's a separate section on annual adjustment of the rate schedule, and there is a formula that's tied to the consumer price index, and apparently the federal government keeps track of and has a separate price index just for garbage and trash. And so it's tied to that federal index. And so in theory, prices could go down. They could, if the index is showing a decline, you run the formula and it comes out lower, it should go down. Now, I don't know that we're going to see that. It's a possibility. But the idea is that, they don't just get an automatic 4%. They have to run it through this formula that's based on the the garbage and trash consumer price index and how much it's changed from one year to the next. And, you know, so then they can increase it as that index goes up, but it's capped at 4%. So it
Okay.
could go up less. In theory, it could go down, but I wouldn't count on it ever going down.
I don't see that
And
happening
there's,
either.
like I say, it's a 5-year contract with 2 1-year renewal. So if after 5 years, everybody's happy and wants to just roll it over, you can roll it over for a year. There's some this is a fairly detailed contract, because there are some provisions in there where if there's some service issues, we can actually find them. Again, I don't know if that will happen. We're hoping that we don't have to. But, yeah, so this one's actually, garbage contract is actually longer and more detailed than the engineering services contract.
Nice. All right.
And this contract is the same as what Avon has adopted? For the most part, it's pretty
Yeah, I
much
mean-
very similar.
There were some changes, there were a few things in there I didn't
Right,
like.
right.
And I specifically, as there was some language that was talking about we would arbitrate any problems, and I took that out. I am not a proponent of having that in a contract.
All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I'm fine with all that's written. I mean, our biggest thing is not to have a 20% increase. I mean, we keep a 4% increase. I think we figured it out that night. We're looking at roughly $1 a month that it could increase the next following year.
Yeah.
We all know prices are going up,
Yep.
so as long as we're not.
Right, and
kept
Waste
up.
Management was, obviously their starter rate was higher, quite a bit higher, and they were automatically gonna do 4% was what their, that's why we used the 4%, so.
Okay. I just know, I know that we're sort of working with them, because there must have been some confusion with the leaf part of it, with the amount of barrels that can be done, but I was assured from Jeff Bertram that they're gonna work with us and be fair and do a good job for us, so as long as that's the case, I'm willing to.
Do you think, this doesn't really matter either, because it's the last company's thing, but that Waste Management was gonna take away that discount, because I've had a few calls on that too, people thought that was still a better deal, but in that meeting, they mentioned that was going away, so just so that's clear to everyone that
Yeah.
there were other increases that would have been imposed if we wouldn't have switched, so that may help,
Right.
see that the
You're-
benefit of
You're
the new
talking to
company.
pay 1 year ahead, you get 1 month free or whatever?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, and I
going
think
away.
that was part of the original contract we signed with Bickers,
Yes, it is.
so that's,
Just so
yeah,
people know that we didn't
Right.
skip on
Yep.
that.
Either way, it was going away, so there was nothing we can do. They weren't gonna bid it either way,
Right.
so.
Right.
But, yeah, like I said, we're just working with them on the amount of leaf barrels that people can have, so that's still a work in process, so.
Yeah, technically, they are still going to save, I mean, depending upon if they upgrade their containers, but if they keep the same size of the containers as what they had, they'll still save over that 1 month that you would have got free, so.
Yeah,
all right.
definitely. So, council to give consideration to approve the solid waste contract with West Central Sanitation. Can I get a motion to approve?
So I'll move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Safe Route to Schools Resolution Number 2022-8, resolution authorizing application for Safe Routes to School grant. Was there any concerns from the council at all on that? Because we're just trying to the east of the high school, we have a whole development that's, there's nothing for them to get to the main drag of Fifth Avenue. So we're just trying to get a grant, try to get some type of a pavement up there so the homeowners can get.
And we figured that'd be right along the highway, right? Right beside the highway? Or
It's
right
actually
beside the
gonna be
ball-
on school property, so it's gonna
next
be
to
up
the
on
ball
the hill a
fields
little
and stuff,
bit.
okay. And do we have any idea what percentage, for the grant, what, is there, is that a match, or is it just a,
Nope,
just
there's
a?
no match.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, if we can get something.
The school writing that, or is that us that would write that, or how does that work?
I wrote it last, it's already, it's in, however, I will tell you, and I apologize, this was on me, because we got the school district to sign off on a resolution. I made a presentation because it's gonna be on their property. And because Stearns County is a sponsoring agency, because it's on County Road 168, they also did a resolution. So I didn't realize that we still had to do a resolution, so I apologize for that. But it went in last Friday, and it's really a cooperative agreement between the school district, the city, and the county.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Appointment to the school district building committee.
So I received correspondence from Superintendent Winter that is requesting, the school district is currently moving forward on planning for facility upgrades and additional facilities, and they may be pursuing a levy in August of 2022. He's respectfully requesting that the council as a whole or a subcommittee meet with the Melrose Schools Buildings and Grounds Committee to discuss how these upgrades could benefit the community and what financial participation the city may be able to provide. So he's requesting that the members of the council, one or two members, or however you guys want to do it, please meet with that group.
Yeah, and there's no bounding to any finances. It's just looking at potential ways that we could partner, no guarantees. I think they want to just see what,
They probably want us to have some sort of an idea as to what type of upgrades or additions they're planning on,
yeah,
kind of keeping us in the loop,
yeah,
depending on what kind of funding, where it's coming from, what may be needed. It's kind of a courtesy thing, and I agree with
Yeah.
the thought process of the superintendent in keeping the council involved.
yeah. And you know, there is always that potential, if there is a pet project that might benefit the city, it's just to look at the whole avenue. I'm not gonna make any guarantees or promises. I mean, I'm willing to meet with them myself. I would like to see another council member come with too, because we definitely, you know, some of the council and I, we may have differences of opinions. At least we can be honest with everything and know a little bit more. And I know, Justin, I think you were on that, when you went to a few of those meetings?
Yeah,
Would that be a good thing that you might wanna
I can.
do too? Okay, just at least look and see what's going on. At least then we'll be in the know on what's going on, because I know in the last one, we didn't get all the information, because I know I went to a couple of meetings and then after the fact, stuff changed. So yeah, it'd be nice to be in the know, so when people ask us, then we know how it can affect us with taxes and things that we might be able or might not be able to do now. I just think it'd be nice to be in the know.
And if there's part of the project that's community related, then you guys
Yeah.
might want to look at that as well.
So,
Okay.
is there anybody else that would wanna do it? I just don't know if we should have more than two, just with a quorum, that would, then we have to, two, okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you with that. Is everybody good with this, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, sitting in on meetings is fine.
Yeah. But not making promises right
Well,
now.
And like I say, I think the
So you-
superintendent wants the governing
Anything
body
would
of the
have to
city
come
just to
through
be
here anyway,
informed of
so.
what their plans are, what their timetables are, potential financing. And I think it's a good idea to at least, you know, keep a portion of the council in the loop. I would guess the city administrator, somehow she can probably stay on top of things also as far as what's maybe happening at the school, but having a couple representatives from the governing body is, I think, is a good thing.
I am assuming there will be a request for funding, and that's what this is partially about, so.
Yeah,
just-
I do
just-
see,
Just know that that is probably, I mean, it's mentioned it right in the letter, so.
yeah,
there's gonna be a request.
And that's why we are saying it here, we're not gonna guarantee anything.
I think, you know, from my perspective, until we see something that will significantly benefit the community, this is my take on it, we can't participate financially because they are a taxing authority. We are a taxing authority. By us funding anything that goes up there, it needs to be substantially community-oriented. And
A windfall for the community
and
if,
guaranteed to the community for use, stuff like that, if that makes sense. Because obviously, they have their own referendums they have to write and stuff. And by us saying, yeah, we're gonna force the taxpayers without a referendum to fund something up there without getting anything concrete as a benefit to the residents of Melrose, then, you know, I'm just
Right. No, I
looking
agree.
at it from our perspective. You know, it sounds, yeah, it's great, you know, there's probably gonna be a pool presented, I'm assuming, because that was just looked at this past fall, I think.
And maybe I'm simplifying it too much, but you're kind of looking at a double dip, taxpayer double dip.
Right, and that's kind of, you know, I want to set the mentality right that we're not getting too excited right away that
Right.
we're gonna get a pool, because, and I actually talked to a school board member about it, and I told him, we need something in a contract if we're gonna fund something. Before you get too far into this, if we're gonna fund something, we need something in writing saying the community is open to the community on these hours, you know, something to that we can agree on, that the taxpayers now are benefiting enough if we do any funding to a school project, if that makes sense. So,
And I
I
certainly
rest my
would
case.
not recommend that it be something that gets funded, and Tessa can probably agree, anything relative to our general. This would be only using special revenue sources that we have in place.
I heard you clear.
all right,
Yeah.
okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, if anything, can I get a motion to approve the request to do it with Justin and I meeting with them?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. No old business. Thank you. New business, February council meeting.
So at the February council meeting that, and we haven't done this because of COVID and different things, typically the February meeting has a start time of 5:30 and is held at the Melrose Fire and Ambulance Station. The city will meet the area township and city officials at 7 p.m. that evening. So we will have our first part of the meeting starting at 5:30, which is a regular council meeting. That actually happens to be the night that the fire chief is going to be doing his annual report, the ambulance director will be doing their annual report, and you guys will be getting the year in review. So that's all part of the regular 5:30 p.m. meeting, and then at 7 o'clock you would be meeting with the area township and city officials regarding the Fire Relief Association. So we're just requesting that you guys are okay with that and that we can hold that at the fire station.
We'll be meeting with the area townships and officials regarding fire contracts, not the Relief Association.
I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly, you
I
are
did
right.
not catch that. All right. And then a special joint meeting with the public utilities on Monday, February 14. We do it immediately after the PUC meeting, or Thursday, February 17th at 4 p.m. Council start time that at 5:30, I guess, whatever.
What time is the PUC meeting on Monday?
Usually it's 4:45.
And duration is roughly 45 minutes?
45 minutes to an hour, I'd say. So you can do it.
As long as the PUC is together, and if nobody has any conflicts, with the exception of lovers' night, taking your girlie out to dinner that evening, you know, I think we should jump in there and get it done on the 14th rather than have those folks come prior to the 17th meeting.
You guys okay with that?
Sure.
Coin flip for me. We have to meet or they have to meet, so.
Yeah.
I don't know how many meetings the puck has, but probably not as many as we do.
Yeah. All right, I'd prefer just get it done on Monday. So we're all good with that?
That'll work.
All right. Informational items, Public Utilities Commission meeting minutes, ambulance department's fourth quarter report. Unless there's anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.